We're about to board the overland passenger train to Melbourne, one of its last journeys as it's due to close at the end of this year. So we hope to bring you all sorts of interesting stuff along the way. Hola, welcome to Good Chats. Where anything that can go wrong will go wrong. There's too many buttons, all right?
all of my poise and all of my preparation and all of my planning, as soon as you go live, it all goes out the window. And I wouldn't call it nerves or anything, but it's just like there's just so much to to keep control of, and I'll forever be complaining about that. And I'm not exactly sure it's going to change because here we are at week 79, and yeah, still doing it. So maybe I need more post-it notes or something. So here we are again for Good Chats, week 79. There you go. And we do this every Wednesday, in case you're wondering what this is. This is the live stream of me, Mike, and Outdoors Type, where we talk about all kinds of rail and history and other related things. Sometimes we talk about footy jumpers. Sometimes we talk about the weather. But generally it's just a group of like-minded people who are interested in history and railways and stuff. And I generally learn more from all of you than you probably learn from me. So it's kind of selfish kind of thing. But and I do have some questions later. I welcome Andy and welcome O'Malley. I was wondering if you guys could refer me to those footy books, the footy history books. I know that O'Malley told me once what these books were, and I think he even showed me some excerpts from it where I could glean some more information about the footy trains and the history and the culture around those. So I'd be interested to find out what they were, get the titles so I can look them up on the library and make sure I get them and bring them in here to the chat and we can talk about it a little bit more. So that's one thing I want to learn from you guys today. And who else is on board? Have I mentioned everybody? I think I did before, but I was muted. So that was JK Kingsley from WA. Thanks for coming on board. Plain Train Guy, as always. And Pete Donaldson, how do you do? And of course, History Hunter Down Under has joined us again. Thank you, sir. We're honoured by your presence. What have you guys been up to? It's been another week. And as you would have seen, I tried doing an outside broadcast, as it were, from Brinkworth. I went up to see the Brinkworth History Society, something like that, association, meeting in the hall there where Bob Sampson, the CEO of the National Railway Museum, gave a talk on the importance of the Magpie Creek or Brinkworth Railway Junction. And it was very enlightening, and I saw some photos that I'd never seen before, and I did kind of purposely go up there to see if I could actually, meet Bob, out there in the field. And I did get to meet the guy as well, so that was fantastic. And while I was live streaming as well, so and since then also Andrew, the collection manager there at the NRM, has reached out to me again. We've organised another appointment for me to spend some more time in there, and hopefully as time goes by, these will become more effective, and I'll be able to get more results and more resources out of it for my videos. And I've seen you've been editing Wikipedia pages, and I think that's a really special thing to do, is contribute to a library of knowledge. I don't edit any railway pages. I do edit a lot of pages, but I don't edit railway pages. I spend my days, as you know, working as a web product editor, and I wouldn't call I'm not a coder, right? And I'm not necessarily a full-on web designer, but I edit web pages and create web pages and manage web catalogs, which is kind of the thing that I've fallen into doing full-time, which is why I keep doing this outdoors type thing, to just really explore all the creative skills and just try not to let them go to waste. So O'Malley's just sent me a photo on the text line. First time texter. Let's have a look here. And it's a photo of the book. And stupid phone changing orientation. Encyclopedia of South Australian Country Football Clubs. Yes. Encyclopedia of South Australian Country Football Clubs. Wow, that's terrible exposure on that. But take my word for it. That's what it is. I'm going to look it up. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I have been doing a bit more editing on my website as well, outdoorstype.com.au, and I have reinstated ads on that recently as well, which has been very pleasing to see that two outdoors brands that I've worked for are now advertising on my site. So, and I get, a couple of cents from that every time somebody looks at it. Oh, we got another photo on the text line now. Feel free to send us a text or on Messenger on Facebook, because Outdoors Type on Facebook, Instagram. Just DM me, man, and we can have a whole text line thing going along here, and I can read out people's texts as they come through. If that's the way you prefer to communicate, then go for it. Thanks, JK. It was a real get, man. It was a long drive out there and a long drive back. Wasn't expecting too much to happen. I wasn't, too involved. Wasn't too invested in making a video of it. But it's good just to get out there and get your face into places and in front of people. Evening, Ree. Welcome aboard, bro. And now I'm looking at South Australian Country Football Digest. Actually, I reckon that was the one. Look at that. All right, cool. I'm going to have to organise to get those books and have a scan through them for the things that I'm looking for. Right, okay, well, I got carried away there, and moving on to the next. I was going to show you a video of that I came up with on the weekend, because I'm sort of waiting now until next weekend after next when I can go do a bit more research. And honestly, I've got to take a weekend off going places, and it's Mother's Day this weekend, so don't forget your mum, all right? So I'll be taking it easy this weekend, but as usual with me, I can't not be making a video. And on Saturday night, it kind of came to me, what kind of video am I going to make? I haven't been out and done anything. I didn't get any video really at Brinkworth, and I've already done a video about Brinkworth. So what do? And I was this close to starting a game of Civilization. And those of you who know me and those of you who know Civilization, that would have been an incredible waste of, anywhere from 30 to 48 hours, really. So what I decided to do was compile all the footage that I've taken of all the South Australian railway stations, historical ones that are still standing, that sometimes see trains, but no longer see trains, generally speaking, and put that all into a compilation. So that's turned into a giant millstone around my neck, hasn't it? I'm probably about 10 or 12 hours into it, and still only at about 9 minutes and nearly 100 stations. So it's kind of, grown big, and we'll probably get to about 15 minutes with this video, and I'd be tipping probably somewhere close to 120 stations. So it'd be interesting to see what number I actually get to, putting all of this together, because I've never added them up, all the locations that I've been to. So this will be an interesting way to do it. So keep up the editing Wikipedia pages, Andy. I really do like that. Keep that shit up, man, because that contributes to history and culture in really accessible ways. I know that I started my research with Wikipedia entries and then took it a bit deeper from there. And I could very well have gone on to edit Wikipedia pages, but I just want to keep practicing these video skills. So I'm going to see if I can find if that video is uploaded, because I tried to load it straight into OBS, but it was glitching out on me. So hopefully very soon I've uploaded a short draft of it. Apparently it's checking it, so we'll come back to that one in a minute. In the meantime, last weekend, just before I finished the stream, last week, just before I finished the stream, Andy asked us a question, and I consider these questions, not necessarily to just be to me. Please, everybody, feel free to chime on in. Now we have got. Let me just think. How many people we got in the chat? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that means there's 6 lurkers out there watching at the moment. So please chime in, say good day. that's if you know what's going on, or you actually don't mind it. Yeah, we'd love to grow this little community. And as always, I'm just wanting to learn more from people out there on the internet. So please feel free to chime in anytime. So, what location did you just want to leave? Was the question that Andy asked last week. We were talking about, again, unsurprisingly, exploring abandoned places and abandoned railway stations in particular for me. And it was kind of, what kind of place gave you the creeps the most while you've been out there doing your photography or doing your videography, or while you've been out there exploring railway lines or whatever it is you do? I guess in some ways, not many of these places really creeped me out too much. Probably, I've had I had a situation once where I was driving out in the far eastern Mallee, following that line between Brownswell and Paringa and Renmark. And there's some pretty remote locations out there, and I do remember finding myself in some areas where you probably 10 to 20 k's, maybe even more, off the nearest main road, and that's probably dirt as well. And you come across an old church or an old farm or something like that, and in this case it was a dead end, and I had to do a U-turn, and I just knew that cold feeling where you just know people are watching you, because you're the only car that's made its way out there except for theirs. And maybe the cops, for a very long time. So that was interesting, that one. I think, I generally don't do trespassing. Well, I shouldn't say generally. I don't do trespassing. So I'm not really particularly concerned at any stage that I'm in a sort of non-public location, or I'm going to get caught by anybody or anything like that. I just don't wander into those situations. I'll film from afar, or use a drone or something. I know there's been times where I felt I'm always very careful to not fly, around people's houses or whatever. And sometimes when I am flying nearby to people's houses, I do wonder what they might think of the drone and what it's doing, and whether or not they might, try and do something dumb. But yeah, that's sort of the only real weird feeling I get. Sometimes in some of the urban situations, actually, now I think about it too, say, for example, Port Pirie, Mary Ely Street, the station there, and some of the places like some of the city stations, or around Rosewater when I did that video, or around Dry Creek and places like that. And let's face it, modern day railway stations in the city are probably one of the least safest places you could find yourself. Excuse me. So yeah, chime in. Let us know if there's a situation like that you have found yourself in before. Yeah, where have you been kind of feeling a bit awkward and ready to and wanting to just leave? So we go on to book of the week. And then, I don't know, maybe we'll talk about the weather or something like that. There was a point this week where I just kind of went, I've already done one stream this week. Not sure I've got too much content for good chats this week. Not sure it was Nangari, man. I don't want to look it up because I'll get distracted and stuff it up, and I'll end up looking at the wrong screen or something. Where was it? Somewhere between Maryborough, and it was, there was an old town there with some old railway infrastructure and stuff like that, but there was a bit further out from there. You seen it rain fish once a few k's out of Canalpin. That would be so cool. Sort of. Canalpin. Yeah, right. I'm guessing they probably would have come out of Lake Alexandrina or something like that. I don't know. I'm just making that up, right? But yeah, there you go. Yeah, wow. That's really interesting. Really interesting thing to happen in a really uninteresting place. Sorry if you're from Canalpin, but God, boring. That's really, really interesting. I'm going to look that up, Ree. I've got to find out more about this. to a footy club on a one-way street. There was a car parked around the corner which couldn't be seen from the road, and bloke stumbled out staring. Yeah. Sometimes you do. You got to find yourself just in the wrong spot at the wrong time. I know sometimes when I'm doing more urban railway explorations, like the GMH Elizabeth Railway line, so much rubbish around there, and in some of those, let's call them thickets. I don't know what the Aussie word for it is. That's just my word for it. Thickets of trees, and I did just get the feeling that some of the things I was looking at were, semi-permanent homeless accommodations or something like that. But I wasn't going too close. Yeah. I've heard of some roads as well up around Bellingen, where I spent a bit of time, where you don't want to go too far up, otherwise you will run across a guy with a shotgun. And so, Google does show some roads sometimes that are public when they're very obviously not. And so you've got to be careful of that, hey? Right, book of the week. I went to the National Railway Museum last weekend and finally picked up this one. So, again, really, really old book, done in the heyday of the reopening, I guess you could say, of the Pitchy Ritchie Railway as it is today. And Jack Babbage is a name that I've seen a lot around the internet in my research. I haven't seen the other gentleman, Rodney Barrington, but there you go. So this book, Silo to Rankin Springs. Yes, okay, cool. Yeah. That's and I know the spot where you might be taking photos of the silo. I can picture it. I love that place, JK, as you well know. I had a landowner come up to me once when I was taking photos, when I was preparing to do drone shots and stuff and other videos of the old railway shed at Ford's. And you might see that if I get to play this video in a sec. And I was setting up the camera and, just starting to, film with the pocket on a tripod, and he drove up and drove past and slowed down. I thought, here we go. Obviously say good day and explain what I'm doing. And he actually let me in to get closer to the buildings, which was fantastic. So I love it when I come across the landowners, because then I can let them know what I'm doing and everybody feels a lot better about what's happening. You can, the map says it's a road. You can show them before they shoot you. I think maybe they might just shoot you, even if you just wave a CFS map at them. There's a couple of those places up around Harrogate, I think is the place. Somewhere up there in that sort of Never Land between Mount Pleasant and Mount Torrens and the Murrayland, somewhere up in the hills around there. There's a few roads that are public roads that are shut off. I think we talked about this with that mine road up near Palmer, which is one of those, which is a road, but not a road if the local landowner says it's not a road. So anyway, this book was first published in 1980. So this book is now 44 years old. And do the padding thing there. And it's got some historical old images in it. And it's got some excellent reference stuff. So add that to the other Pitchy Ritchie book that I brought the other week. And that will give me some excellent reference material. Because again, I think some of these books that were written way back in the 1980s or whatever, they uncover some different references that you just no one has access to these days. And so it's very interesting. Shoot, it was very hard to start reading, right? Because you've got the content. You've got a foreword, right? So you got to read the foreword. Then you've got a preface, right? I haven't seen this before. I haven't seen a foreword, then a preface, and then an introduction, and a preface to the introduction. And so at this point, I'm like, when will the book actually start? And so it starts on page 7, and talks about the larger subject of the Great Northern Railway, which was obviously the context that the Pitchie Ritchie Pass, greater context that the Pitchie Ritchie Pass sits in between. Again, a little bit sort of yellowed here and there, but more images that again I'll probably find most of these images in the collection of the National Railway Museum, and so it gives me something to aim for, I guess you could say. So yeah, there you go. That is the first 100 years of the Pitchie Ritchie Railway, and I hope in future sort of I'm not going to do necessarily book reviews, or maybe I will one day. I hope to talk a bit more about those footy books. I'll track down some copies, and now I've got the photos there. It'll make it a lot easier to do. So let me see if I can now share, probably before we wrap it up for tonight anyway, see if I can share this video. So we're going to go save that one there. Or at least the first few minutes of the video that I'm working for. Oh, wow. CFA printed fire map books even have the landowners' names and a list of the owners. Yeah, right. That'd be a really cool resource, and obviously very important for CFS people to have during a fire. So what have we got? Okay, we got 2 minutes 33 of that one there. So I'm just leaving this unlisted for now. Because it is just a draft. We're a long way from being finished. So let's fix that up. Let's cue that up in the thingamy. There we go. Are we good? Okay, we're good. So I'm going to share this preview with you all. This is Ford's. I haven't labeled this video yet. I haven't done any of the labeling of the locations, obviously, which I will do. Just got to figure out how many locations I've got. G'day, Shano. Welcome aboard. For some reason, yeah, Ford's is a really, really striking location. Oh, well, thanks for coming on board, Shano. Yeah, and Ford's had a really cool curved platform as well, and the old shed. I'd love to dig a little bit more deeply into that. You probably find out more at the Kapunda Museum. The Kapunda Museum was really, really good. All right, well, we've just I've just really started with that video. Just bolting everything into sequence, so to speak. So we shall see what happens with that one. Let me see if I'm getting my hotkeys right tonight. No, I'm not getting them right. We don't go to the main source. That's it. Okay, so here we are. The last thing I wanted to mention. Yes, all right. Well, you'll have to tell me more about Kapunda at some stage. Now, where are we? That's the one I want. Again, as always, I've just been resetting my settings every week, so there's something different. And no matter what I do with my sound settings, I'm always going to probably come on the stream muted. So we changed that to that. We changed that to that. I know it's only been a short one tonight. I know for a minute there, I've been so busy that I was actually thinking of skipping this one, but we just don't skip good chats. Well, I don't skip good chats. That we do this every Wednesday night at 8:15 p.m. rain or no rain. And hey, I don't know if anyone else has noticed the complete lack of rain around Adelaide at the moment. I don't know how the rest of the country is going, but things are actually starting to look pretty grim. Things are very dry. I don't remember a decent rainfall for quite some time, which is a complete reversal of fortunes over the last few years around Adelaide. And I know certainly my garden's showing it. I don't know about yours. So maybe we can talk about having some decent rains now. Isn't that what people talk about? Is talking about the weather? Now we're talking about the weather on Good Chats. But yeah, you're probably seeing that too, and there's a lot of concern being raised in Talkback and in various circles that talk about that. It's a little bit strange, the introduction to this season, and there's no rain forecast for some time. So we'll see how we go. We may not be talking about rain on Good Chats because there's just none at all. My grandparents who lived on the farm, whenever we'd speak to them, one of the first subjects of conversation would be the rain or relative lack of it. It's always playing on the mind of people out there in the land. Any rate, we've just introduced another subject there. We've just hit 13 concurrent viewers. We've been up to 16 at some points here. And usually that happens as the stream gets later and later in. And sometimes we will keep going, depending what the subject is or what's happening. But I always like to keep things tight. So please, as always, guys, guys and gals and lurkers, if you got something you want to message me about during the week and you want me to do a bit of investigation and we want to have a bit of a discussion about it, I'd love it if y'all could send me suggestions for perhaps talking about, or I won't say reviewing, but talking about some of your content that you'd like us to promote and discuss and give you more ideas on. Then please send that through. I wouldn't know how to do a 3-hour stream, Shano. I just don't have that voice practice, but you never know. I could do probably a 3-hour stream if I was just completely muted. And you never know. This video may end up turning out to be about 3 hours by the time I'm finished it. So thank you to everyone who came on board. I'm going to try not to miss anyone. Shano Ace and JK, Andy Munro and Kingsley. So it's the lack of rain over in WA as well. It's getting a bit concerning, man. It really is. And thank you so much for coming on board and sticking around again. O'Malley Tours, thanks for the photos of the books. I'm looking forward to chasing them up. The ocean fish falling on Canalpin. I do need to look this up. Now I think about it, I think there's a thread in there that I have heard about this before. So maybe I can bring that into the chat next week and see if I can find some resources on that one. And History Hunter Down Under, thank you for coming on board again, kind sir. Plane Train Guy, always awesome to have you on board. Pete Donaldson, thank you for coming on board and sticking around again. Thank you to all the lurkers as well. We do this every week at 8:15 p.m. and we go for generally somewhere between half an hour and an hour. We like to keep things moving. So as I always say, bring me some more content. Let me know if you want to come on board, and we can do a talkback or a chit chat kind of situation, and we can keep this thing going through the impending winter and through the times when I'm not necessarily making an awful lot of content that I can present straight up. It's busy work trying to fill these minutes. I do make notes, and I do look up and research a lot of things to bring into the stream specifically. But it's always great fun, and it gives me an excuse to continue to research all these things, and I always learn so much more from the audience, I think, than I do from almost any other resource, because it's so direct. So I want to thank you all again for coming on board. We will definitely see you again at 8:15 p.m. next Wednesday, come rain, hail, or shine. Hopefully some rain. Until then, peace.